Good morning, Modern Steaders.
Good morning.
It is a nice, beautiful fall morning this morning. More and more leaves are turning and falling on the ground.
For better days to come and carry us like wind in our sails. Hold on tight, I can smell the shore, it's right in front of us if we just hold on tight. This vision that I saw is getting closer every dawn. We are dreamers of the...
We're up here at the off-grid property now, and we need to start working on our water line today. But before we can do that, we have a dump truck here. We're getting some more material dropped off so we can widen this area up so we'll have more room to go around the tiny house. But before we can start digging our ditch, we gotta get that pile spread because they're gonna be coming back with one more today. Take care of that load for now. Got it all spread out. We got more room from this corner out this way, and now the next load will get dumped up there so we can have more room that way. So if we need to swing around here, we have room to drive or not crowding the edge. So we'll get this kind of just brought out, and that'll be nice. Oh, the moose are liking it over here. That's a big old moose track. Now we can start digging our ditch up to the well right there. I dug out a ditch and I buried 4-inch PVC pipe up to just past that rock. We need to continue this ditch up to the well. And that way, when they come to install the water line and the pump tomorrow, they're not waiting on me. I know we've kind of been jumping all over the place lately on the different projects we've been doing. We'll start one, like the solar array, get on and off it. But there's a lot of things we're trying to do and get done before old man winter sets in. And yeah, as you can tell, that's right around the corner. So we have a bunch of things we're checking off the list, and we're also working on other people's schedules. So we just need to get everything done so that way come wintertime, we're not caught with our pants down, as they say. Alright, they're back with the next load of 5 minus. Whew, I gotta show you what I found as I'm digging that trench. It's not going as easy as I was hoping. I found my first piece of ledge right here, right where I need to dig, of course, but luckily it's breaking up with the bucket and hopefully I can get through it. It looks like it ends right back there. We should be good. I'm just gonna break this up a little bit more. It's not breaking up all that easy, but it is breaking up. And then I hope we don't find any more. That's the first time I've found ledge on our property. It's usually big boulders. Alright, so what are the odds that we're gonna get a big old rock that casing is drilled through that we need to get out? That's what I've been wondering once I get closer to the well. Are we gonna hit a rock that has a hole in it with the casing stuck through it? I hope not, but we're gonna find out. other day, I noticed that the well was overflowing. So I was thinking what we were gonna do with that. We can either put a well buster in it, which is basically a plug that you put like 4 to 5 feet below ground level, so it plugs it off, but the well can still breathe. And then I was thinking, why not put an overflow line in 4 to 5 feet deep down there, run it down in a trench, down this way, and down our ditch, and then we can have constant flowing fresh water down to our lower pasture. So that's what we're gonna do. We got a trench dug for that. Then we can always have running fresh water to our animals without electricity. It's gonna be great. We have our gravity-fed water system on that side of the road. And then now for this side, we'll be able to put a trough down here and always have constant flowing water. I'll show you. It's not a huge amount of water that is overflowing, but it'll be more than enough to fill a water trough throughout the day. Just a nice little steady drizzle. That'll be perfect for the animals. It is a real foggy morning this morning up here at the off-grid property. We are waiting for the well pump guys to come up today and install our well pump, our water line, and the power line to the tiny house. So the well is way up there. The trench is all dug down, and we're gonna run it up to that white PVC pipe right over there. Before we did the foundation, I dug a trench right here under this plywood all the way down, up, and stubbed it up into our foundation. So that's where our water line's going to go. We need them to come and bring a pump today so we can pump this out, get this cleaned up, and then get our water line installed. I'm curious to see how all the ditches are. So far I only see water in this area and just a little bit up here. I gotta clean this part of the trench out with a shovel, get that cleaned up a little bit better. And then down this way, we're a little wet, but that's just from groundwater seeping up. But we should be good. This is still running nicely. I noticed the other day that the well was flowing up and over. So that's telling me that they either hit a vein further down and the supply of that vein water is coming from an elevation that is higher than our well pipe. Or since the well has been drilled, some of those veins have cleaned up and we're getting more water now, and the source of that water is a higher up elevation than what our wellhead is. So either way, we have more water in our well. Before, when they drilled the well, the water was 40 feet from the top of the well, and now it's up and flowing over. So that's gonna be a good thing. I'm excited. Back in. So this is the ledge we hit yesterday, but it's pretty crumbly. You can dig it out with the excavator somewhat. I started to bust it up pretty good. Enough to get through it so we can run our water line. If we didn't have all this rocky soil that we're lucky enough to have, we'd be able to use a trenching machine and get a nice clean trench. But with our rocks, we have to dig these big old holes because you hit a rock and you got to make it bigger. Look how wide it is. It's got to be like 6 or 7 feet wide right up there. Back here, kind of the same thing. We got a big old rock. I couldn't budge it. So this is what we're working with. hole pumped out. I gotta get the excavator down there, and I gotta dig a stub line for the water line going to the house later on, because the PVC pipe I put in is gonna all be used up today, and we won't have room to run another water line in it.
You're through.
You got it. Got it? Yep. Twisted. Yep. That went well. What we did so far today is we had them install the pump. We got the pump in, we got all the line in. They ran the wire. We have two different lines running down. The blue one is water and the black pipe is another water pipe, but that's the one we have the power lines back to the tiny house going. We put another hydrant shut off in, so this way if we need water up here for animals or anything, we already have it and we don't have to dig it back up and install it. On the left side, put an overflow and I put it out in the ditch. So when the well's producing too much water and we're not using it, it'll run out to the ditch. And I'm gonna put a T down there and I'm gonna run that down even further in the summertime so we can fill up an animal water trough if it's overflowing that much, and we'll have good constant water for the animals down in the lower pasture. I'm just constantly thinking water, water, water on the homestead. How can we have water? Because when you're raising animals, you always need water, and lugging it isn't fun, and being in a northern climate, your water is gonna freeze. So I'm just always thinking, how can we have good running fresh water even in the winter time? So we got a hydrant, we got the overflow down that way, we should be good. I need to backfill the hydrant a little bit with some sand, and we'll mix in some of this ledge so that way we can have good drainage. I'm gonna bed the whole water line with sand, so that way if we drop any of this bony material on it, we don't have to worry about our water line. So we stubbed through our 1¼ inch water line, and then we have the other 1¼ inch water line right here with all of our wiring to our well pump. We'll leave this up inside the house and we'll be good when we start building the house. We're not gonna do any of this stuff until we get the tiny house built, which will be shortly. What we ended up doing is we ended up teeing into our water pipes when we build our main house later on. We already have the water line in and a shut off. This is called a curbless. You'll unscrew this, and down in here below the frost line is an on-off fitting. You'll need a special tool for it, but this way we can already have the water line to the house going. My original thought is the PVC pipe that I installed, probably about a month ago now. I had a Y in it to fork off to go to the house later on. I was gonna pull it through from the tiny house, but we already ran 2¼ inch water lines through it. We most likely wouldn't be able to get a third through it. The option that the well guys came up with was putting in the T right here and a curbless shut off. So this is what we did, and then later on, when we go to do the house, we'll already have our water line plumbed in so we know where to dig. I'm gonna backfill this all with sand, so if I ever have to get in here, we're not digging in this big bony material. I need to pack some sand around this hydrant shut off so that way when we go and shut it off. Actually, let me tell you how one of these works if you don't know. This is a frost-free hydrant shut-off. So when you turn this handle on, it's got a rod that goes all the way down to the bottom where the water is, and it lifts up, turns it on, water comes out. When you shut it off, it goes down, and the water shuts off way down below. Let me get down there. And this seep hole right here is where the water runs out of, so it doesn't freeze in the wintertime. All right, the pipe is bedded in sand nicely. I'm not worried about backfilling it now with our bony material. A little winded. That'll be good. I have one little issue that I need to take care of before I can start backfilling this hole. Unfortunately, I don't have everything I need to take care of this next step. So I gotta go out and see if I can find what we need and then get this taken care of. So it's looking good for now.